Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. Are you an author, speaker, coach, or entrepreneur building a brand in today's very crowded marketplace? How do you stand out? Join me on September 27th and share 97 minutes of your time for just $97 and learn how to empower your brand message and shine as a guest on podcasts. iHeart's doing it. Spotify's doing it. You should do it too. Join me and spend 97 minutes of your time for just $97. You can find the registry link in the show notes. Hope to see you there. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Sophia Olivas. She is an influential woman in the world of AI, a philanthropist, a speaker, an author, a technology innovator, and the co-founder of Wisdom Forge. Welcome, Sophia. I am so happy to have you here. How are you doing today?
You are one of my favorite people. I'm super excited to be on here.
Thank you so much for taking and making the time to be here with me today. We have been planning this for quite a while, so it's nice to finally have you here and to dive in and talk about all the things and all the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do. So with that being said, let's jump in and get started. Now, you are one hell of a busy woman. It's a lot of hats you wear. How do you find the time for all that you do, and how do you prioritize, and how important is prioritization and organization to you?
Well, I actually have a really solid answer now, because before I'm going to tell you what this answer was, I don't know how I did it, because now it's AI. With AI, I have a team of 1,000 at my bidding, and they never get tired, and they never care if I'm in a bad mood, or they just want to please me and do everything they can for me. And so that's how I do it. And prioritization, oh, absolutely. I'm run by purpose and also in the moment, what's important. So those two things are what guide me. They're my guiding stars. And so my day is set. Like you and I were talking just right before this. I'm like, I'm run by my little calendar. My calendar tells me what to do. That thing is the boss of me. If anybody ever says, oh, you're the CEO or the founder, so you don't have a boss, no. My calendar is the boss of me.
And if it's not on the calendar, it's not happening.
It does not exist. I won't find you.
So I'm very curious, with all the hats that you wear, what does your morning routine look like?
Oh, so I get up when the morning is just quiet and still, when the birds are kind of waking up, and they kind of wake me up. It's my little alarm clock. And I have the first moments are to myself. I have a standard routine that I do in the morning and the night. And when I wake up in the morning, I do something called, well, if I have a dream or something, I write it down. And then I do something called Captain's Journal, which is, or Captain's Orders. So on a ship, like if you were on a vessel, whatever the captain says goes, because if not, things could go really wrong. And everybody has to put their trust in the captain, and they just follow orders. So your mind is like the captain. So whatever orders you give it, whatever orders you give your body, like your mind gives your body, like it's going to follow, your mind's going to follow. So whatever orders you give, you're the captain, everything else follows. So I spend 5 minutes giving the captain's orders. Everything that I'm like, hey, you're always going to know what to say. You're going to, in every moment, be gracious. Like every day it changes, whatever it is. So every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. Like I just write it out for 5 minutes. And then I move on to the first thing I do, though, when I first open my eyes is gratitude. Immediately 3 things that I'm grateful for. And sometimes it's things in the present, or sometimes in the future as if it's already occurred. And then I do a 5-minute visualization. So I visualize my perfect day from the moment I open my eyes, and I envision myself in it, like the thread count that I wake up in, what time, how do I wake up, who do I wake up by, all of it, all the way into the end, like what an absolute perfect day would be. And I do yoga or different things after that, but that is like my must.
Those are non-negotiables.
Those are non-negotiables. Yeah, I do those.
I love it. Love it. What drives, motivates, and inspires you to keep going and excelling at all that you do, Sophia?
Man, if you're around me and start geeking out, and you'll see really soon, I love what I do. I never got out of the question of why. And then when AI came about, my friends were so relieved. I was like, I remember it was November 30th, 2022 when OpenAI came about. And like those gamers that like they get those finger boosters and all. I think I was up for 2 weeks because it was right during the holidays. And so everything slowed down. And I was just enthralled. Like I had philosophical conversations, all the conversations that I bore my friends to tears with. But this thing never gets tired of me. And it loves, like the more questions I ask, it just engages more with me. So that's just been, it's been heaven sent for me and for my friends.
That's hilarious. Heaven sent for your friends. So you're not asking them all these questions. Can you share with us what you were doing for a living before you made the jump into entrepreneurship? And what was the catalyst for that shift?
Yeah. So we'll have to go way, way, way back. We'll have to go to when I was 14. I disagreed with how my father was raising me. I thought I could do better. And I left and did way better, which included being homeless and starved at 14. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So fortunately for me, being homeless and starving, I had all these mentors to this day that have just really saw something in me. And I spent my entire days in libraries, and the librarians just fed me books because they saw how back that, can you see the,
yes.
It started way back then. And I just had mentors that would just bring me around to different personal development courses. There was courses back then called EST, which became Landmark Education. Mm-hmm. I was around all kinds of things, Tony Robbins, when I was really early, like all this stuff. And then when I turned 18, I had gotten a book just before by Robert Allen called the No Money Down. Mm-hmm. And it was how to buy real estate with no money down. And flipped my first property, used that money. I made more money than kids my age made in a year. And used that to start my first tech company, which back then was a web development company back then. And I sold that off by the time I was 21, 3 years later, and pretty much retired and started traveling the world, and then got into real estate investments again. Then 2008 hit and lost everything, like back in my car. Like I was back to being 14 again, back in my car. It was so great. It was so incredibly humbling. But see, this time I knew I could do it because I'd already done it. So, okay. It was just really humbling and irritating. It was like humbling and irritating at the same time. Like, man, because I knew better. I knew better to be more diverse. And I was just so in. And then blockchain came about, which really saved my hide because crypto came about and I was able to rebuild my wealth at an extremely fast pace. And then I started growing globally, speaking and teaching women about financial sovereignty and solvency using cryptocurrency. And then AI came about in a way where I started working with Fortune 500 companies, consulting to them. And then when it finally became public, when OpenAI made it public, then I started going to the people that I really wanted to work with, which were the entrepreneurs and the small businesses.
Incredible. At 21, you basically retired. What the hell can say at 21 that they basically retired? That's insane. You are incredible and such an inspiration. I think that is amazing. And the fact that you had the resolve in 2008, okay, well, that's okay. I can rebuild. It's not a problem. That's okay. I got this. That is incredible. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. But the fact that you didn't let that stop you is what I'm amazed at. And so many people would have been shattered.
Well, I mean, you're cheating yourself and you're a big fat liar if you've already done it once and you don't have the grit to go do it again. And that's on you because everybody already knows and you know that you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I want to jump into the whole AI world now. So what initially sparked the interest in the field of AI and technology for you, and how did your journey into this world actually begin?
I have always been, tech and real estate have always been my absolute sources of fascination. And it just, I was always on cutting edge stuff. So I was in web page development in the early 90s. I was building website while I was traveling internationally on dial-up. And
this is just something you taught yourself, though?
$10 a minute. What?
And this is just something you just taught yourself? You just figured it out?
No classes back then. I used to be around some hackers and they were teaching me stuff. But it really occurred to me because I had this guy that I was dating way back then. And I remember he got into web development and we were both taking, I think, the same classes or something in college. And I was like, wait a minute. Because I would walk up to a hotel, like a bed and breakfast or boutique hotel. And it would go something like this. Hi, I was trying to find you online to book, but I couldn't find your website. And they'd say something like, oh, websites. Yeah, we don't know how to do that. And I'd be like, well, for 50 grand in your penthouse for a month, I'll do it for you. It was ridiculous money. It was ridiculous money back then. Yeah. And then I just started doing it abroad. Like I did my best websites swinging from a hammock with my toes in the sand. Yeah.
That is incredible. And so the field of AI, though, how did that?
Well, that has always been fascinating. Like just technology was always a fascination to me. And then in the 2000s, there was a resurgence. Well, basically around 97, there was a renaissance of AI. And I was watching it because Google and Amazon were using it. And I was fascinated by it when Netflix came about and started using it on your movie selection. I just was fascinated at how a program could pick up on the human trait of discernment, learn to see and pattern recognition. And I was hanging around a lot of people that were way smarter than me, that were at Berkeley and think tanks that were working in deep learning and AI projects. And I was just wanting it so bad. I wanted this power because I knew it could answer all my questions, or at least not get tired of me asking them. And so then I just jumped in wherever I could, wherever they would let me play. And then when OpenAI came about, I was like, this is it.
I'm in 100%.
Yeah.
Love it. Now, how do you see the landscape of AI evolving in the next decade, and what opportunities or challenges do you anticipate for the industry?
Great questions. Well, okay. So I'll say what I'm going to say, and then I'm going to say something else to hopefully give you guys some perspectives. There is no way that I can see in my short mind where humans come out on top. There's no way we're going to win this. AI is smarter than us. It is way faster than us. And in many moments, it's better than us in certain ethical moments and whatnot. So that being said, I'm saying that we can't survive this with the mind frame that we're currently in.
Right.
That's the caveat. So there's hope for us because it's always at the precipice where humanity is called to being and where leadership is called and where we're our greatest. I mean, you look at any of the calamities, 9/11, where New Yorkers were picking up people, bringing them in their homes and letting them and like hugging people, not a thing that happens. So there's times and we are at that precipice. So we're at a tipping point. And I do believe that AI is what you do with it. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. You're for or against it, regardless, because it's here. Why does it not matter? It's here. So you can be against it all you want, but it's here. So what matters is what you do with it. So if I give you a hammer and a bunch of nails, you've got a tool. If I give you a hammer and a mountain lion's coming at you, you got a weapon.
Yeah.
That's what AI is. So you choose how you want to use it, as a tool or as a weapon.
So you either get on board with it or you're getting left behind, and that's it. Like, it's here. There's nothing you can do to stop it. It is here. So you might as well learn how to use it for good.
Leverage it.
Yeah.
While it allows us to still have it as our bidding, leverage it. And the future, well, so based on what I said, millions of people are going to lose their job. It's just logic. Just look at it. I don't need to be a fortune teller. I don't know anything about the future. That what I do know is that AI was created to replicate human tasks. It replaces human tasks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plain and simple.
What does human tasks? Humans. So then it replaces humans.
Yeah.
And that's great news because there are so many jobs that don't even require anything in a factory or whatnot where it's super dangerous, where the major dismemberments and injuries, all those things occur that AI is going to replace and should. And because those are jobs where people have allowed themselves to be unchallenged. And so if you'll work with AI, it will develop you like you would not believe if you collaborate with AI. Most people are just directing AI. Well, okay, well, good luck with that because that's lazy and your brain's going to go mush if you're just having to do it. But, if you choose to collaborate with it, and it'll just make you so much better.
Yeah. But then people will speak about the whole ethical thing and people using it for bad. And but you think about that, people, whatever comes out technology wise, there's always going to be people out there that are going to leverage it for bad use, for evil, for whatever word you want to use. They're going to use it for bad things because humans just inherently Some of them are that way. So you get on board and you figure out how to leverage it or use it for good, how to help it, how you can use it to benefit you, to benefit humanity.
It's with anything. It's how you choose to use it.
So AI technologies raise important ethical questions around privacy, bias, accountability. How do you approach those ethical considerations in your work, and what steps do you take to ensure responsible AI development and deployment?
Yeah, regardless if I'm with a company or if I'm with groups of people, businessmen, entrepreneurs, whatnot, I instill in them and I show them the power of the AI. And with great power comes incredible responsibility.
Yes.
And I go through it over and over again, and I let them know that this can be leveraged for so much good. And I just really what I just kind of went through with you. There's no real checks. I really do watch who I bring into my fold, because I know the power that I'm about to bestow upon them and what I'm going to give their companies, how they could just decimate their competitors. There's all kinds of things with what I show them that they could do. So I'm really discerning on who I pick to work with, which is why like on Fridays, I do a free AI training for ladies.
Oh, cool.
Part of my ongoing commitment to women's financial sovereignty, I really have it that women are the source of all the problems, which is great news, because then also the solution to all the problems. And the reason why I say the source, ladies, is because at this point, at least, we're the ones that give birth to the future. We birth the children at this point still. And most of the time, we are the ones that raise the children. So we shape and develop that future. So if the women are okay, the world is okay. And that's one of those phrases like, if mama ain't happy, no one's happy at home, right?
Yeah.
It's true. So I really just I really focus on that while I'm doing all my other work. I just make sure that the women are really taken care of and get a real good foothold with leveraging that technology.
So every Friday you do an online training for women on AI.
Yeah, I do a 30-minute power 30 minute, and we just dive into one aspect of AI and we just go right at it.
Okay, well, we'll put the link for that training in the show notes when we release your episode so that women can check that out, because obviously predominantly the audience that listens to the podcast is women, so that would be perfect. Now, in what ways can AI empower individuals and organizations to solve complex problems and make more informed decisions while still preserving human agency and autonomy?
A couple things. I mean, that AI is agnostic. It can go into any industry, any company, any position. I've yet to have somebody tell me something and say, oh, AI can't participate in that. It's in everything and can be implemented in everything. So there's that. And how, your second part of your question is like, how can we say it again?
Still preserve human agency and autonomy
back
within
to the collaboration.
Organizations. Yeah.
Okay. So when you work with me, you'll hear this constantly. Collaborate with AI. And that's how you get original work. That's how you get around ethics. That's how you get around plagiarism. That's how you get around generic AI stuff. So you, instead of directing AI, collaborate with it. So if you were just a generic thing that almost everybody's using AI for is write this for me, right?
Yeah.
Directing it. Instead of saying, let's write whatever this is together. Here are my thoughts on the subject. Ask me questions before you start. Do not make any assumptions.
Okay.
And then you let it ask you some questions. You go back and forth. When you feel like it has a good grasp of you, your tone, your thoughts on it, your critical thinking, and it's asking you questions to draw out more and to get you more articulate and clarity. So that's building you. And then woof, then it goes.
So you're basically teaching it to emulate you, how you think, how you speak, all of the tone, everything.
At the same time, it's sharpening you.
So just ask it to ask you questions so it gets to know you. And then, hey, I want to write a book on this topic.
And my thoughts are, here are my thoughts, because you want to have some thoughts.
Of course,
and then,
input into the book.
Yeah. And then ask me some questions. You can even say, you can even tell it, ask me 3 questions, ask me 5 questions, or ask me questions, do not make any. Because there's this thing called hallucinations. You may have heard of the term in AI. And that's how you avoid hallucinations. Hallucinations is when the AI, because it is eager beaver, it wants to do whatever you ask it to do.
Right.
So excited and eager, like more than me, to fulfill that, like your wish, that if it doesn't have enough information, it will, just like what a human will do. You never want to let a Sophie like go in her imagination. See, I will become bratty. Like I will instantly go to brat, and an AI will do the same thing because it wants to It's a people pleaser.
Yeah.
It will make up stuff that looks and sounds perfect, but is completely false.
Right.
It's not necessarily a hallucination, but the way you eliminate that in any sense is to collaborate with it and tell it to not make any assumptions and to ask you questions to fill in the gaps.
So you have to specifically tell it not to make any assumptions.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. I did not know that.
Here's the thing though. So one thing you'll learn about AI is and how it makes you better as a person is something that we've all had in technology, garbage in, garbage out, you go. So if you are not getting the response you want from AI, you only have you to blame because it is faster and smarter than you. So you're just not articulating it correctly, which is in your command prompt. So it sharpens you that way because it makes you get more clear. But also, if we look at our human interactions, now I'm not a sociologist, but I know this from just being a human. We make so many assumptions in our conversation. So I'll show you like really quick 2 examples.
Yeah.
When somebody says thank you, do you know what they're thanking you for? You think
they just say thank you.
You think you know what they're thanking you for. Yeah. Maybe you just did something, but you really have no idea. That's how we talk. We think the other person. And that's why we've got some messies going on right now, some disagreements. And because we're all acting out and conducting ourselves through our own filter and through assumptions on top of that. And AI is doing the same thing because it's learning from its parents. It's modeling.
Yeah.
So the better that we get at recognizing our assumptions that we are conducting ourselves through and out of, then the more that AI and the more that we train it and the more that we get clear and give it better command prompting, the better we get.
Beautiful. Thank you for clarifying that. I love that.
You're welcome.
What recent advancements in AI are you most excited about? And how do you envision them transforming industries or society as a whole?
Yeah. And I got to work on this project when I was teaching at the Changemaker program at Berkeley last year. So the medical field, by far, it mapped the entire human genome already. It's already got so many advancements in diabetes, in quadriplegics. People can now walk again. They can. Eyesight is being restored. Hearing is being just astronomical.
That is phenomenal.
The health and the medical industry. So that has been incredible. Also that's probably one of the biggest, I think. And in coming up with real world global solutions for some challenges that we've got right now, it's just coming through some breakthroughs. Now, more times than not, it basically defaults to we're the problem. Okay, get rid of the humans.
Well, humans are always the problem. We are the worst. It's crazy. Humans are the problem.
Well, we're the problem. We're the solution as well.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So we're also wonderful stewards of this gorgeous planet that we have. And so in collaboration with AI, we can really learn to be better stewards of each other and of the planet.
There's that word again. Collaboration is all about collaborating with AI.
It is.
While AI is often associated with tasks that involve data analysis, pattern recognition, as you mentioned earlier, there's growing interest in its potential to augment human creativity, such as in fields of art, music, design. How do you see AI contributing to creative processes, and what opportunities does it present for artistic expression and innovation?
Man, we're about to see, and we are already, like every week there's an explosion in technology and some new beautiful thing that pops up, because there's been a barrier in a lot of these areas that you've mentioned due to a financial barrier. So let's say you can't afford studio time, but you've got this voice, you've got this inspiration, you're a great songwriter, and then you just pop in AI and you've got everything you need to do that, a whole album with zero down, like zero. And then you can put it on YouTube, again, zero, and get it out and go viral. So you're going to see creativity and stuff we're in a technological renaissance right now where it's more than a renaissance. It's just crazy what's going to be happening. And all the people that were tinkering during COVID and had all this extra time, now it's just like, it's exploding. And if artists are willing to pivot and adapt with the technology and learn it, they can come out on top and just really become the wielders of all of this technology. Because I know last year we had 2 big, huge strikes in the industry with SAG and the writers and all that. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, then they just signed themselves a horrible contract. It's 10 years in technology. That's like almost, I don't know, 500 years that they just and everything's going to change. And they didn't even put themselves in it because they weren't thinking about the future. Oh, just sell your voice and let everybody use it, but sell your voice. And then you don't even have to do your voice thing anymore. If you're like, just sell your voice. And if you're a musician, do your music, whatever, then sell it and let everybody have it. And just sit back and make music, or just make money and do whatever. Go to Disneyland, go do something fun. Go do it. What people do on TV, right? Just go do that stuff. So if you're willing to pivot and shift with this, you're going to find a tremendous opportunity. About 3 weeks ago, about a month ago, I was in a room, an online room full of 15-year-olds, and the oldest one was 27, but most of them were 15 to 22.
Yeah.
And all of them were multimillionaires. Now you're like,
15?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Put me to shame. Put all of us to shame. And here's the thing. It has never been, ever in history of recorded history, has it been this fast and this available to make money like you would not believe.
How are these 15-year-olds making that kind of money?
Because they don't have that. Because we're like, what? You can't do, right? They don't have our story about what can't be done. They just go do it. Yeah. They just like, oh, okay, they learn it and then they apply. They like learn something and then they apply it. And they don't have this stigma about being perfect, having a great background, all the things we talked about. They don't have those. They don't have those stories. And then so they just go do, and they just do and then take action, and they're successful. Yeah,
that is unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah. And our quest, like we were like, I don't know what our quests are, but kids, they're just like, oh, okay, so you make money and then I can go to the movies as much as I want. And then they just go do that. Whatever. It's so great to hear their stories. They're so inspiring.
That is amazing. Holy shit.
Yeah, they don't want to work. And I heard this story about one of the TV channels was talking about how in court they were making somebody that's very famous in court had to sit there, and he's 80 years old and he has to sit in court all day for 8 hours without getting up. And it's like torture. And I was like, and then Jon Stewart comes on and says, or his team, I don't know if it was Jon Stewart, but he's, in most places that's called a job. But the kids are the same way. They're like, and that's something I can relate to. The reason why I remember being in senior class, we had something called Career Day.
Yeah.
And where all these professionals would come and talk to the senior class. Yeah. And I was sitting right up front, like very front. And all day they were like, and none of them seemed happy, by the way. They were just like kind of going through the motions and all that. And I'm just like studying and watching them. And then they gave us 5 minutes for Q&A at the end. 5 lousy minutes. And I like instantly raised my hand. And I was like, okay, let me get this straight. So you're telling me that I need to go take a loan out that's going to take me at least 30 years to pay off so that I can go to school to learn how to make somebody else rich in the hopes that when I'm 60, that I could still hike Machu Picchu. And as I'm waiting for the principal, because obviously didn't go over so swell.
Yeah.
The principal's like looking at me. I was like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, how do I work from anywhere in the world? Principal's stumped. I don't know. I don't know how to do that. And I was like, this internet thing, it's going to take off. And that's what these kids are like. They are like, because I saw it even back then, and I still do. And obviously I'm very righteous about it. Still, I feel very justified in my questioning. I thought that we were doing it backwards. When you don't know anything, you should be out exploring and going full tilt. And when you have that wealth of knowledge and experience behind you, when you're older and your body doesn't necessarily have the agreement with anymore, that's when you should be working and like in a place and contributing back to the society in that way. So these kids already know that. They see us and they're like, well, you're not happy. Why would I do that?
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, that's my people.
15-year-old millionaires. That's insane.
Multi-millionaires.
That is crazy.
Yeah, making way more than their parents.
They could retire their parents.
Phenomenal.
No problem.
It's phenomenal.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, as a woman in a predominantly male-dominated field, what obstacles have you encountered along your path to becoming a tech innovator, and how have you overcome them?
Oh, that's fun, because a lot of them are, when I do stumble across them, they're mostly unconscious. And I would say almost all of it's unconscious. I'll just give you a really quick example.
Yeah, please do.
When I work with males and I tell them, okay, let's create your avatar. Let's create your target market. So tell me about your target market. And they're like, oh, well, I'm going for females and males. I'm just like, okay, well, tell me about your male. Oh, my male's 39 years old. He makes about 150,000. He's a VP of marketing. And I'm like, okay, great. So tell me about the female. Oh, she's a director. She's 45 and she makes 80,000. And I'm like, even in their mind, they can't even, I'm like, yeah, let's try that again. Why don't we switch the male and female? And then that seems about fair. And then they just want to look at me like, what? And I'm like, yeah. Man's not going to make more than the woman. She's 45. She's got ages on him. And so another reason, why do I teach women? I obviously am passionate about it. And I think that they're the solution. But I have men every now and then, very few, but I have men that come up to me and be like, well, why don't you teach men? I'm like, because men don't want to learn from me. They don't want to learn.
They don't want to learn from a woman.
No. They don't want to learn.
Ridiculous.
Who's smarter than them. Right?
Ridiculous. Yeah.
That's
insane.
One little area that may have a little bit more knowledge than them. I don't know. A lot of those things, I don't really see them as they're occurring. Sometimes I'll catch them. I don't know. They're not there for me. And I don't know. I see people when they get into those moments, because as a whole human, we are capable of every range of emotion and all of that.
Yep.
Murder, violence, all of that we're capable of. So when you see a characteristic in somebody, if you disown it, or if it's like if you're like irritated by it, then that's something in you that you're irritated by. Right. So usually when I see something like that, I'm like, oh, how adorable. I know. Do you hear me say that you're adorable? Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes
sarcasm.
You really are adorable, because I know I call you that because you are. But sometimes it does mean, oh, you're in that human moment where you're just...
You're not awake yet. Don't worry about it. You'll get there one day. Maybe. Yeah. There's a lot of people still walking around sleeping. As you said, the unconscious. Yeah,
just unconscious about it.
Yeah, and that's okay. They'll find their way somehow, some way.
The world still works. So
yes, exactly. Yeah. Can you discuss the importance of diversity and inclusion in the tech industry specifically, and what initiatives or strategies do you advocate for to promote greater representation of women?
Yeah, you know this because you are smart and you surround yourself with women. And once you do this, you'll understand where you have just shortchanged yourself. Just in a general stereotype, we're going to do a general stereotype and a general basic stereotype. Women are collaborative by nature and men are competitive. If you grew up in a society such as ours, like if you're in a first world society, that is just ingrained in you. There's still some different tribes that still have the matriarchal society, but we're not talking about those. We're talking about the patriarchal society. So in the patriarchal society, women are just more collaborative. If you want to go faster, you will surround yourself with women because they just get stuff done. They just get stuff done. When I do work with men, I point out those things and help them become more conscious about it in a fun way, right? Like, oh, you just did that thing. And you're like, what? I'm like, oh, you like when I just showed you that example I showed you with the guy. And I'm like, oh no, let's flip this around because that's just wrong. Yeah. And they're like, oh, and then he's, oh yeah,
light bulb goes on.
Yeah. So I think if we bring humor to it and humor is just always a fun thing, especially at yourself. Oh my gosh.
Like, if you can't laugh at yourself, what the fuck?
And through, I don't know, the challenges, the walls, all the things that you've got going on, obstacles that you are bound to hit, like you will definitely hit. That's what makes it all work.
I love it. Your work, of course, extends beyond technological innovation to philanthropy, social impact. What drives your passion for giving back, and how do you leverage your position to affect positive change in the world?
Yeah, I'm on a couple of different boards. I mentor, so I take on 2 mentees every year and go like really deep with them and mentor them. I also, it comes from my origin story. Like I had mentioned, I disagreed with how my father was raising me and thought I could do better. So I watched my mother be in a very abusive marriage, held captive by her lack of education and lack of finance. So she had a 6th grade education. And so she grew up in a time and a place where they just didn't value women's education and on a farm, on a ranch. So after 6th grade, they're like, you got to work on the ranch, you got to work.
Yeah.
And only the men were allowed to go to school after that. And then with my father, she wasn't allowed to work when I was young, which was incredible in a way because I had my mom all the time when I was young. And then when I was, because I was the youngest, when I went to school and was in school, she was allowed to work, but then she still didn't have control. She didn't have her control of the finance. My father controlled the pocket, like the credit cards, everything. So she couldn't ever leave because he threatened her and stuff. So I saw right then, at 8 years old, I was like, oh my God, I am never, ever going to be beholden to a man for finances. And I saw that women, when they are financially solvent, they go further in their education. And there's so many studies that back this up. They go further in their education. They have kids later in life. They have fewer kids, and they choose better domestic partners, and they take better care of their mental and physical health, all from becoming financially sovereign and solvent. So right there, if you make sure the women are okay, you just eliminated poverty. You've greatly reduced violence, right there. And then you bolstered mental health. And everything we do falls into those categories in the world.
For sure.
So
for sure.
That's where my passion
women need to be held in a much higher regard, because it will ripple out. Women give birth to children. There's nothing more important in life than that. That's lifeblood. You women give birth, you raise the children. If a woman is happy in her life, in her career, as you said, financially solvent, stable, all of these things, it's going to ripple out to every area of her life, which then ripples out to everybody around her. And it starts at a community level, then society, then the fucking world. This is how shit is going to change. If we empower women to become more financially stable, more financially solvent, to be happy in their lives, what a fucking planet this would be.
Yeah. So I'm constantly challenging men when they get me on their podcast, not one that are women-centric, ones that are not women-centric. And I get to ask a question. I'm like, what doors have you opened for women today or this week? And they're like, huh?
Yeah.
I'm like, figuratively and physically. Have you physically opened a door? And what doors, what path did you mow down so that a woman could come in?
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, but I've also talked to some male friends who
are because I'm accepting applications.
Yes, who are of similar mindset in terms when it comes to women. And they've said that they've seen the pendulum swinging further the other way, where women are of the mindset of, I don't need a man for anything. I don't need this. I don't need that. I don't need a man to open a door for me. What are your thoughts on that? Have you seen any of that in the women that you've encountered? And what do you think about that?
Yeah. And I saw that in me in my 20s. I was so the little 8-year-old Sophie, to get herself through the streets and around drugs and all that stuff that could have happened to me, pushed everybody away, especially men, because men could harm me at that young age. Yeah. And in my 20s, I still had my armor on pretty much. And every man knew, I don't need a damn thing from you. So I don't even know why you're coming up here, because what do you have to offer? Because I have everything. So I would say this, it's not about needing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not about, can you get the door?
No.
First of all, men. So I'll tell you how women light up, and I'll tell you how men light up when they're able to be of contribution. Mm-hmm. My God, if you give a man a purpose and an ability to fulfill that purpose, that's how you get men to just be at their greatest. And women, in order for them to revel in their femininity, which men so crave and love, and it's just delicious, that looks in all kinds of different ways. So when I see women that are like that, first of all, I get that there's an incredible hurt that caused that. Somewhere, whether it was their own personal or they witnessed it. So first, I just instantly want to just smother them with love. And then the next thing is to just let them say, somebody's got to make the first move, and it might as well be you. You know, you just got to lean in with your heart and be heart forward, because that is our gift as women. That's the other thing that we bring to the table, because men in their masculinity, they run on power, right? Yeah. And women, what we bring to the table, and what I've been learning in my later years as I'm approaching 50, is my power lies in my femininity, in my softness, and in how I can just make men unclench their fists. Yeah. That's the power that women have. Like, even with my smile, I can walk in a room that's super tense, and just with my smile and be like, are you guys misbehaving? Right. And then have the men melt, right? Have them go to 5 years old. That's our power, right? That's our power, is with our femininity. And then to be able to, once they do that, be like, all right, let's redirect this energy. And then boom, get into,
love it. As a trailblazer in your field, what advice would you offer to aspiring technologists, especially women who are seeking to carve out their own paths in the world of tech?
Yeah. By the way, I love men. They're so useful. They're so useful. they're just, they're so yummy. All right. As a trailblazer, just want to throw that in there.
Yeah, of course.
So as a trailblazer, well, I mentioned earlier how I see the future. Millions are about to lose their jobs, millions, right? And ladies, if you're hearing me now, if you are an employee, start making a side hustle and start banking that money as fast as you can and start to develop your entrepreneurial skills, because that's what's going to allow you to pivot. That's what's going to provide you a cushion for what we're about to experience, because it's not the government's responsibility. It's no one's responsibility but your own. It is only your responsibility for your financial solvency and sovereignty. So the government is not going to be able to move quick enough. It's not their job anyways.
Yeah.
Right. For them to come up with UBI, universal basic income, all of that, all that's going to come to pass. It's not going to be in time to help you and your family. So, that's what I would say is and link arms, find a mentor, somebody that's already done success. And I mean, to this day, I still have mentors and I still belong to mastermind groups. I am constantly up-leveling my network to where I am the least successful and least smartest in my group. I love to be around people where I feel incredibly incompetent, because that's how I grow, right? I'm like, oh, wow, I don't know anything. Let's go.
Yeah. Surround yourself with those people who can teach you, who can guide you.
And you leverage AI. That's how you can scale and grow with a team of one and be a team of 1,000. And you can compete against the biggest Fortune 500 companies if you leverage AI. And I would say heart forward, lean heart forward, and really develop your why. So Simon Sinek wrote this incredible book. I think he's got like the top 5 TED Talk of all time, right? Yeah. Start with your why. And really, because your why is what's going to get you through, over, under, and around any obstacle. So develop a really strong why and let your purpose guide. Lead by purpose and lead by what's important in the moment. What's the most important thing? If you're in a boardroom, if you're whatever, what's the most important thing, and let that lead. If it's to have a solution, then that's what you work at, right? If it's righteous, good luck with that, right? So just kind of look. And okay. And I just be in lots of mastermind groups, because you are inevitably going to hit, it's a roller coaster ride. Unlike anything, life is a roller coaster ride, but with entrepreneurial life, my God, you will feel like you're insane. You will feel, because the people you love, specifically the people that love you the most and that you love the most, your parents or everybody that's close to you, will think you are insane, irresponsible. I mean, I could go on and on about the adjectives they use about you, and you're going to start to question yourself, and you will doubt. And your voice, that voice, the ones like my voice, that voice will try to win. Yeah. To protect you.
Keep you safe.
And to keep you safe. Which is ridiculous, because being an employee is absurd if you're trying to be safe. Because right now, companies like even Elon Musk had to just lay off a good 10 to 20,000 people right now. And he's so against that. So you have no control over your financial well-being when a company's number one, their first job is to be financially viable. Yeah. They're not financially viable. They can't offer a job to you. So they have, and sometimes it's not about them being evil. They have to be financially viable, or else they can't hire people and stay in business. So sometimes being financially viable may look like you not being able to work there. So it goes against what your well-being, financial well-being is. So the way to take it in is and I applaud you. So I applaud the ones, because you are going to be so great. It's like listening to The Knock. Elizabeth Gilbert, she wrote that famous book in Eat, Pray, Love, right? Mm-hmm. But that's not the book that I read it, whatever. Watch the movie. Julie Roberts is phenomenal. Her book, Big Magic, every woman should read. It is about listening for and hearing the knock. And she gives so many examples of women, people that heard that knock and just went for it.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that, Sophia. Can you tell us, you're the co-founder of Wisdom Forge. Can you tell us what the company's all about? Tell us everything Wisdom Forge, when you founded it, what was the inspiration, all of the things.
Yes, I am just profoundly honored and humbled and grateful that I have really long-standing friendships. A lot of them span over 3 decades, from when I was a teenager and stuff. Yeah. And one of those friendships, I recently we came back and met up again. And he had helped me during my MBA he was a CFO and he taught me my financials. And so all my companies that all of that's been based on what he taught me back then and spent so much time working with me and really teaching me, giving me my financial aptitude back then. And fast forward almost 3 decades later, I ran into him and was able to thank him. And he's still a massively amazing CFO. And he was telling me, I actually want to offer fractional CFO services. I don't know how to do that. So that's why he approached me, because I've only ever been an entrepreneur. So we started talking and he was like, his mind was blown. Because now I get to gift back to him and contribute to him with all this knowledge that I've had that started with him, like the gift that he gave me. Yeah. And all of a sudden he was like, and he asked me questions about AI. And I told him about it. And he saw the writing on the wall. He said, so many people are going to be out of business. They need a transition, E to E. Yeah. Transitioning from employee to entrepreneurship. And that's when let's create a company. Let's do this together and let's help these people during this time. And so that's what Wisdom Forge is about. We help entrepreneurs. We empower them to forge their transition from employee to entrepreneurship.
Love it. When did you found it?
Oh, yeah. We founded this so basically this year, in the early of this year. So
Amazing.
It's just started and we're getting up and running and
in its infancy. I love it.
Yeah, it's in its infancy. And so we're creating all the programs. And while we're doing it, we're beta testing like crazy. So we're offering all this free stuff. So I get to give all this free stuff to the women. And so that's what
is it solely women focused?
No, it's focused on, so we're focusing on executive C-suite levels, employees that are wanting to make the transition to entrepreneurship. So we're focusing on that. And I just get to do an extra bonus with the women. Yeah.
Now, as mentioned off the top, you're also an author. I'm curious, has writing always been a part of who you are? Or is this something that is a fairly new path for you? And if so, how long have you been writing? What was the inspiration for you to get into the world of becoming an author and writing?
Yeah, so this is much love giving back to teachers again. So my 3rd grade teacher had us start getting a journal. And then my 6th grade teacher we had to write every day in class a journal. So from 3rd grade, I was like kind of writing a journal already. And then in 6th grade, it got cemented because every day it became a habit, because every day in that class, we had to write a journal. And his name was Mr. McCool. And man, he was the coolest teacher. So I just never broke that habit. I have written something every day. And then I used to write stories and like all this stuff. And so I love the written word. I love how in that art form, you can create a whole world in somebody's mind, but it's different for every person. Because like a movie, you create a whole incredible world, but everybody's involved in that world. It's like a whole world, but it's a different interpretation for every person. It's just amazing. And how you can ideas spread like wildfire. And that's what the written word is. What is it? The pen is mightier than the sword. Ooh,
yes.
Yeah. So Taylor Swift knows that, right? Anybody that's in hers that scorns her knows it. So it's, I'm just fascinated with, the written word. I'm fascinated with communication in general. Yeah. Which is why I'm fascinated with AI, but definitely the written word. Yeah.
Excellent. What's your latest piece that you've written or story that you've written or
I've
project you've participated in?
I've got 2 that are getting ready to come out.
Okay.
So one is, it's with the editor this week. It is an AI book for college students. For me, I believe that my co-author, Arena, her daughters are, at the time when we started writing it, they were like, oh my God, we're going into college and what future are we going into? I'm like, you're not. Yeah. Whoever started college this last year, in 4 years, whatever you're studying, I don't care what you're studying, that's gone. Yeah. It's gone. And they were like freaked out. And I was like, no, don't be freaked out because there's going to be tons of opportunities here. Let me show you. And then we're like, okay, let's write a book for this. Yeah. So that's in the editing phase. Okay. The second project. Yeah. And the second one is through Wisdom Forge. We're writing an E to E book. So showing people how to make that pivot and transition from.
You're in the writing process for that one right now.
We're just starting that one because I'm just finishing this other one. So.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
They're coming out soon. You guys will see them soon.
Excellent. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
Oh, yeah. I've had this superpower since I was young. Yeah. So I can get people to do things out of their comfort zone and love it. That's one thing. And I could give you tons of examples where I'm really good at smelling out adventure and then getting people to come in, even though they wouldn't normally do it. And they might but they are loving it. That's one thing. So one superpower, I'm very enrolling. And the other thing is I'm really good at getting the best people in whatever area it is, like putting together teams. So getting the best people and putting them together in a sandbox and having them play well together. People that would normally never associate with each other.
Yeah.
And get them on a team and make magic happen. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Speaking of success, how do you define that word? What does the word success mean to you?
Yeah. Success to me is living a life of purpose on purpose, such that I participate and impact the evolution of humanity. And how that looks like to me is that I can amass enough wealth such that I can contribute to other people's empowerments of their dreams and whatever they're building. So that's what it looks like for me, is amassing quite a bit of money so that I can go and fuel others' fires.
That's a beautiful gift. I love it. What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before learning it? And what was your life like after you learned it?
Inflection points are what you're talking about. I had an inflection point in 2011 when I had the profound opportunity to meet the Dalai Lama in Dharamsala in Cloud Ganges, where he's in exile in India, right at the foothills of the Himalayas. And I learned something in that encounter. I learned that in the Tibetan way, that from what I learned, is that there's no right or wrong, good or bad. There's no evil. And you could be like, well, what do you mean? There's terrorism, there's violence. No. So just hear me out. What I learned was all there ever is in every instance, be it man-made or human-made, in every instance, all there ever really is an opportunity for humanity to evolve. And that changed my whole perception of life. Like it was an inflection point. I was going one way and then I was like, oh, so in every instance, I can then stop and look for where I can evolve, where another can evolve. What can I gain from this interaction, whatever. So that, and it had me cease judgment of people and actions and things that occur. Because if you're in the, that's right, that's wrong, good, bad, evil, then you're stuck in judgment constantly. Which is human. But also it narrows your ranges of possibilities for solutions and sometimes it pigeonholes you into a systemic situation like the Middle East, right? Yeah, for sure. They're constantly in that because they're not able to see it outside of how can we evolve. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. What does the word empowerment mean to you? Ooh, that's like the power grid goes off and one person has a spark and lights somebody else's candle and it just like spreads like wildfire. So it's that breath of fresh air that someone needs when they are on their knees. It's that belief in someone when they don't believe in themselves. It's that kind word, that whisper, that atta girl, atta boy. It's really seeing people bigger than they see themselves so that they can step into that future. Beautifully said. I love it. We're going to jump into a little rapid fire section here. So the next grouping will just be 2, 3, 4 word answer type thing. Okay. How would you describe yourself in one word? Charismatic. If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be? Ooh, adventure. If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be? Collaboration. What is one thing that you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance? I love about, oh my God, my resiliency. Hands down. Yeah. If you're writing, I love it. Might as well be. Why not? If you were writing your autobiography, what would the title be? Watch this. That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. What aspect of your personality do you think has been the most helpful in your career? My optimism, my absolute belief in my path and in the path of others, my ability to adapt and my fortitude. Yeah. Beautiful. If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you? Ask yourself. Oh, I like these questions. These are so great. I would have asked the hard question. The question is, how can you have such an incredible, wonderful life and be approaching the age that I'm getting ready to approach, my 50s, and not have ever been married and no kids? Okay. Answer your question. You had to know that was coming. I know. Yeah, because most people don't bother asking that, which is great because they don't ask men that. Why should they ask women that? Yep, you're right. I honestly, I was about to say I don't know. And whenever anybody tells me that, and I say, well, if you don't know, who knows? So let me just throw that back on me. We touched about it in a little bit. I had a lot of armor on from coming from my early childhood. And I did push away, which was necessity at the time, a lot of people and things so that I could remain safe. And I think now what it is that I have really high standards. Like I know what's available, what's out there for me, for others. And there is this author, Jeff Brown. He's wrote a whole bunch of incredible books. Oh my God, just follow him in everything he does. He just oozes love. And I think it was in Graffiti Bridge, or one of his books that he wrote. He talked about how there's some people that need to eat 3 times a day. They need to have 3 square meals a day. And then there's others that are willing to starve themselves and hold out just to have one feast before God. And that's me. Like I'm willing to, yeah. And I have a lot of love. I have community wherever I go. I work from beautiful places in the world so that I don't ever have to take vacations. And I just make community wherever I'm at.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love that.
And I believe he's probably really bad at directions and he's going to find me soon. Find each other. When I accept an application.
That's awesome. He's just really bad at directions.
That's why if you see this guy that's really great and he's just kind of looks lost, tell him I'm over here.
Aren't most men bad at directions? Right? Sophia, what is your why?
Oh my gosh. So my why is definitely my mom. She is, even though my sibling and I, we've left home, she is still with my father. And I know, having been on the board of domestic violence shelters, I know this brain synapses is that when you're in that long of a violent, abusive relationship, how it just rewires your brain and thinking. And I've just always am fueled by the fact that I want to make sure that should she ever choose or feel the need or something happens to my father, that I can always just take care of her. That and if she at any moment decides that she wants to go see the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, that I'm like, let's do it. I'm going to go send the car for you and send a plane and let's go. And I mean, to this day, she dresses me. Like, that's how we stay connected. Like anything that anybody ever sees on me, that's my gorgeous mom. She does all that. And yeah, and the fact that she's a saint. Yeah. I can only imagine what it's like to be a mother to a Sophie. I mean, a little girl that leaves home at 14 and then travels the world and solo backpacks 35 countries. I can't even imagine. And she's Catholic and they light these candles. I mean, I'm sure churches have possibly burned down because of all the candles that she lights and prayers and stuff. So I'm so fueled and inspired by her grit to move to a country where she didn't know the language, the customs, and was willing to have her daughter do that so that her daughter could have an education and have these opportunities. So
That's a beautiful
really take advantage of them and pay her homage in that way, in that sense.
Love it. What would you say is one of your biggest failures and what did you learn from it?
Oh, yeah. Man, I had one of my biggest failures right in the beginning. I mean, I've had a lot of doozies afterwards, but I'm so glad I got this one like right out the door. So I was 21, 22 maybe at the time. And I was creating a commercial entertainment club because I had seen in Japan and stuff where they do business. They do them at these beautiful nightclubs and they were super modernized. And I was like, oh my God, breaking bread is the best way to do business. The next best way is to have liquor and throw liquor in it. And I'm like, oh my God, so this is really great. So I was going to create a corporate entertainment nightclub so that was geared towards, and it had all this technology, RFID chips and everything, so that people could just you could do a retina scan and tell who you were. This was like in the 90s, like the late 90s. Like it was going to have all this stuff. And I did it in a project in the Phoenix metro area in a place called Tempe. And they were building something called the Tempe Town Lake, which has since come to fruition. But in the beginning, it was just being talked about. And what I didn't know at the time was the NFL team for Arizona, the Cardinals. Yep. They had been playing out of the ASU stadium, the college football stadium, and they're now ready to get their own stadium built. And so all these cities were vying and putting in their name in the hat. And I was like, well, for sure, Tempe's going to get it because they're not going to let them go. And they were building this huge lake project that was right in front of the stadium, the current stadium. And I was like, oh my God, they're definitely going to get this. All this money's pouring in and stuff. What I didn't realize is they were never in the running for one reason only. They are in the flight path, the direct flight path to Sky Harbor or International Airport. A stadium could never be built because it's in the flight path.
Yeah.
So they were never in the running. And so the stadium obviously went to some city in the West, Glendale, and the funding, everybody lost. And I had raised $30 million in 28 days for that project. And yeah, it was an amazing project. It's still good. I mean, we still don't really have that. I still could do that. And so I learned right away, like to never, I had a project who was dependent upon something that was completely out of my control.
Yeah.
So like people that have jobs. So I learned that right away. And it was super heartbreaking and humbling to have done all that work, to had all that money and lose everything on something I could not control. It's devastating.
I'm sure it was.
Incredible lesson.
Teachable moment for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time.
If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
Ooh, that's really interesting.
So many amazing women. How can you pick just one?
Yeah. So there's a lot of obscure women, and I don't know their names, but there was in the forefront of computer technology, it was actually women that came about and started this, but I don't know her name. I'm like thinking of all these different women. I'm getting hard pressed. I mean, I can think of one that's alive right now, Sarah Blakely, that I just want to just have a good glass of wine with her and have some laughs and cries. Yeah. Because I know she's got some battle wounds to share. I think I would, but I know there's a lot in the past where I would just be like, man, how did you do that back then? Yeah. Yeah. But for right now,
Sarah Blakely.
Right now, if I could have a glass of wine with her, that would be who I would pick.
Awesome.
She's got great.
Yes, she's a badass for sure. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Yeah, get ready because you're going to want to do this twice. Oh, man. Yeah.
All right. Lastly, Sophia, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your tribe, your people, your corner of the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
Trust your path. Trust the path of others. And leave things better than you found them. Leave things and people better than you found them.
Beautiful. Wonderful way to end the interview. Sophia, thank you so much for taking and making the time to be here with me today. I've had an absolute blast. You are such an incredibly inspiring and beautiful human being, woman, and soul. I am so grateful to call you a friend, to know you, and to have you as a member of the Empowerography community. Thank you for shining your beautiful, bright light out into the world through all the work you do, and just thank you for being beautiful you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. And thanks for giving me an opportunity to maybe inspire, get women to relate, because I have fallen on my knees more times than I can tell you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Sophia Olivas. She is an influential woman in the world of AI, a philanthropist, a speaker, an author, a technology innovator, and the co-founder of Wisdom Forge. Thank you so much, Sophia. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.